In our last video, we introduced fear as the most dangerous threat on the path towards spiritual evolution. Fear, the lowest known vibration in our universe, occurs in the mind of the magician when they have identified with their ego, rather than their higher self. Why then does fear exist? Can the magician use it as a tool, rather than become its slave? In order to understand fear, we must look more closely at the ego. To be human is to have ego. It is necessary for our mortal experience. And thus, we should accept it not as a flaw, but as a device which limits our consciousness. There are certain lessons that can only be learned by going through the human experiences of duality and separateness. The ego is like an apparatus which limits and focuses our total consciousness so that our higher selves can simulate such experiences as division and polarity. Indeed, the ego feels safe when the mind sees only the mundane world. In a realm of objectivity, where the separation between light and dark is clear, there are more so-called truths to cling onto, thus giving the ego a sense of permanency. In this way, the ego can be defined by its need for control, and the illusion of control is much more tangible in a world dominated by objectivity. All of this changes when a person initiates onto the path of knowledge. On this path, objectivity gradually dissolves into chaos, truths become half-truths, and life reveals itself to be a process of change. The world of magic is based on subjectivity, where all things exist in potential. The ego struggles to exist in this world because there are fewer and fewer things to hold on to. In a world full of subjectivity, the ego becomes confused, overwhelmed, and afraid. It begins to sense that single, ultimate truth which it cannot reconcile, that the ego itself is an illusion. Even the partial realization of this truth produces fear in the mind of the magician. However, this fear is not to be ignored. Carl Jung once wrote that, "Wherever your fear is, there is your task." In this, Jung suggests that fear is like an indicator of where one must go in order to grow. Fear always points into the unknown, yet it is the unknown which holds the secrets to our evolution. The darkness conceals novelty which can at once destroy us, and at the same time give us our wings. We are cosmic beings with a higher purpose than we could ever imagine. In order to begin on this great work, we must learn to accept our ego, but carry on as if we were already our higher selves. Part of this involves recognizing fear and moving towards it gradually and mindfully, so as to experience its lessons. As we let ourselves feel the sensations of fear while maintaining our purpose, we begin to integrate that which originally seemed catastrophic and unthinkable. By doing so, we prove to ourselves that we are far bigger than our egos would suggest. The key point of this discussion lies in the fact that we must eventually step into our fears. So then, how is a magician advised to proceed? Is there a correct mindset or attitude that one should have before facing the unknown?